These are my highlights from CES, not the actual products to be honest, but I will give my take on what happened and what you missed. I mean, CES is now over, so I went through all the releases and will let you know what's the top 5 spatial audio news that you shouldn't miss. So let's get right into it. Number 1, yeah, Dolby Atmos is getting more and more a thing in cars, not even the premium cars anymore. I mean, Mercedes is already on board and a couple of other manufacturers. If you're interested, I have a list on my blog who's already on board. I recently tested Xpeng, who also have Dolby Atmos for some reason. So I really think that's a good way to, making spatial audio accessible. The car is literally a huge entertainment system. And most of the cars already have multiple loudspeakers built inside. But not always there's the possibility to even play back multi-channel audio, because you need dedicated hardware that you can play back discrete sound sources inside the car. Most of the time there's just some up mixer, which basically takes a stereo track and does some black magic, to be honest, which is hard to explain, and makes use of all the speakers that are in the car. So why not make use of the speakers in a good way? And this is what's happening. So I already experienced that, and as much as I sometimes talk not too good about Dolby, I was really having a good time there, and even like some hip-hop track that I don't even listen to hip-hop, but it was mixed in a nice way, and it really worked nicely in a car. And with self-driving cars, I definitely see this being a trend. Having Dolby Atmos or a comparable technology inside of your car. So that was my number 1. Number 2, speaking of Dolby, there's a thing called FlexConnect, and this gets me to my smart speaker like the Amazon Alexa, which I have here. And as you can tell, this thing, the sound is actually pretty decent. I can't complain. It has some sub, it has some low end. But it also has multiple loudspeakers built inside, so it's not just one speaker as you might think. There are actually, I think, 4 in total, which point in pretty much every direction on a horizontal plane, but there's even like an upfairing speaker, which you wouldn't have thought from this thing. But as you can guess, getting 3D audio, as much as it's promoted and that you can play Dolby Atmos and whatnot, it doesn't it sort of works, but it's not the best experience you can imagine from this. So the way to go is to have multiple loudspeakers again, which is what didn't really work out with 5.1 sound. But now it's getting a thing for combining multiple speakers that you have around your environment, maybe even a laptop, combining it with your smartphone, combining it with a smart speaker, combining it with, I don't know, a soundbar that you randomly have laying around, obviously, in your living room. And it solves some problems, it creates new problems, because a soundbar, or like this, how the smart speaker works is you set it up, and then you press play, and basically it measures itself. So it learns where your room, like how your room is built, like what frequency curve your room has, and where are maybe reflections inside your room that the speaker can work with to create like virtual sound sources, virtual speakers inside your room, that the sound is being reflected to envelop you into a sound bubble, as you wish. And if you use more loudspeakers, you can guess the experience gets better. But obviously, if you combine, I don't know, a laptop with a smart speaker with a soundbar, the quality is maybe not what you wish for. But thinking about it, you don't need a low end from every loudspeaker. Sometimes, like even a laptop can produce enough sound to just add a little bit of the experience. And this is what we have with FlexConnect, or like the Fraunhofer a counterpart, which is called, let me look it up, I think it's called Up Here. And they're doing something similar. They think, oh, how many speakers do we have in your living room, and how many can we use, and then playback sound at the same time. It also has some complicated measurements going on. But I also see this becoming more and more of a thing that, when you have multiple loudspeakers, why not make use of that instead of just having one soundbar to rule it all? And what happens if you go to the next room? It doesn't quite work. So I see more this combination without much cabling, hopefully going on, just like, which was one of the reasons why 5.1 surround sound didn't really catch on. So now let's go to number 3. And this is what gets me to this fancy soundboard that's just laying around here, right? This is the Razer Leia Tan Pro, and it comes with a subwoofer that you can connect here. And you basically plug it into a computer or like a laptop via USB, and it becomes a sound device that you can then output your sound with. And you would think, oh, this is a soundbar, it has multiple loudspeakers firing in every direction. And this thing is different. It has multiple loudspeakers, but they are all firing to the front. And what this webcam does is actually it tries to see where your ears are to do some black magic again, which is basically, it's called beamforming, crosstalk cancellation. And it tries to cancel out everything that's not supposed to hit, for example, your left ear. So it tries to play back the sound from the left channel just on your left ear and cancels out all the sound that would travel to your right ear, which is a problem that we currently have with stereo. If you have 2 loudspeakers and you play back the left channel, obviously a lot of the left channel comes to your left ear, but not everything. Something also spills over to your right channel. And this is what you don't want to have with spatial audio, where you want to have a more controlled environment. And for example, this problem we don't have on headphones, because if I wear headphones, the sound comes from, I mean, you know what headphones look like, right? Just showing off technology, I guess that's here. And in this example, like the left channel hits 100% of the left ear, and the right channel 100% of the right ear. So there is no crosstalk. I can easily make use of binaural audio here and to do all this fancy spatialization, use all the tools, because I have a controlled environment. But with loudspeakers, you don't have a controlled environment. You have, the spill. You also have reverberation of the room, for example. So it's much more difficult to have this crosstalk cancellation. But it's becoming more of a thing, also called transaural, which is like the opposite of binaural. So binaural is for headphones, transaural is for loudspeakers, as you wish. And long story short, Audioscenic is doing an incredible job of making it work. I was really surprised. I mean, I could test their prototype years ago. And I was really happy that I did, because I was so surprised that although the soundbar is coming from the front, it still sounded like something is coming from the back. I was like, how? I mean, I should know. But it worked way better than I thought. And it's just playing back binaural audio, which is so weird. I mean, binaural audio, by definition, is supposed to be played back on headphones. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong. But suddenly this thing proves me wrong somehow, proves us all wrong, and just makes it work. And Audioscenic had, I think, 2 products. One was a laptop and one was a screen, and they built in their technology. And even though you would think, this can't work, somehow they made it work. And I also see this becoming more of a thing in cars, but the use case here for gaming, for example, is also pretty interesting. You have the distance of 1 meter, because the problem of the technology is the further away you get from the point you are listening, like from yourself to the soundbar, the worse it gets, because you can imagine doing this beam forming onto your ears gets more and more difficult. So this is why it just works with 1 meter, 1.5 maximum. And the use case for gaming is pretty interesting, because they wear headphones all the time but want to have 3D audio, and this is a pretty interesting solution. So enough from the soundbars, except like I saw something with Dynaudio or Dynaudio, whatever they are pronounced like. They have like a soundbar for 20K, so I guess that I wouldn't really say 3D sound is getting more accessible, but in this case, you have the whole range. I guess soundbars are getting cheaper and have the Dolby Atmos, and for only a few bucks, then we have the mid-size soundbars for like $1,000, which is also already pretty premium, as you wish. But yeah, sky's the limit, I guess, right? So let's go into number 4. And I already made like a dedicated video on this, which is Eclipsa Audio, which used to be this immersive audio model and format, formerly developed by, although the media says it's Samsung and Google, which may be the driving forces, but it actually originates from the Open Media Alliance. There we go. And they already have a dedicated video streaming codec that I have to look up. Damn it, it was something with video one. Or bear with me. I'm not a video guy. I'm a sound guy. But now they made a new video format. And it's not much of a format, I guess. You can think of it more as a container to implement, I don't know, channel-based audio from your Dolby Atmos mixes, for example, or make use of ambisonics, which is great, although YouTube was already supporting ambisonics since 2016, but just first order. Now they're making use of higher order, which means better quality for us all. And yeah, let's see how it will enable content creators. But since I already talked so much about this thing, I have 3 pros and cons linked in the video description below, or you can find it on my channel if I don't forget to link the video. There we go. And number 5, what I see is more like my own touch on it, that head tracking is becoming more and more of a thing. I feel like head tracking is built into consumers' headphones as much as noise cancelling in the future. Not yet, but this will be more of a thing. And obviously AI buzzword is also becoming more of a thing, and like the interconnectivity between all those devices. So this is like what we will have more in the future. And I'm also currently testing a binaural rendering thing that I can't talk too much about yet, but there will be at least 2 blog posts on this where there is like a interesting competition compared to Apple ecosystem and the Samsung ecosystem. And they already, they do some good spatial audio on headphones. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it didn't really convince me. And I think the potential is there to have great spatial audio on headphones. I'm the headphone guy. I'm the 3D audio guy for headphones. Basically, I do sound mainly for VR headsets and stuff like that. And I still feel like the experience I have on such a headset is sometimes way better than I have on headphones, although it's like a similar technology when there is sound being rendered binaurally. So, long story short, stay tuned. There will be great developments. And those are my top 5 from CES. I hope I'm not late to the party. The press announcement was already there, but I thought better late than never. So let me know what your highlight is from the CES and what you're looking forward to in 2050. It's not 2015. I'm getting old. It's 2025. Still practicing my English, so bear with me. I hope you learned something in this video. If so, make sure you comment and subscribe. And yeah, I see you in the next video. This is getting more and more fun. I hope you enjoyed, so let me know. See you then. Bye-bye.